Lisa Hoffman, the homebody realtor, and I'm here with my sister Lori, who's going to talk about ways to make hand washing fun during the corona outbreak and hopefully ways to instill good habits going forward.
So today we're actually going to talk about 3 different ways to encourage hand washing habits. The first is submerging toys in melt and pour soap for very young children to encourage more frequent hand washing throughout the day. The second is ways that older kids can get in on making their own soap and kind of making it their own. And the last one is more of a psychological way to approach the problem, and that is a reverse swear jar, which can be very effective. So what you'll need for this first project is melt and pour soap. The thing that I love about melt and pour soap is that it's a lot like baking chocolate. It's ready to go even when it's in a solid block. The next thing you're going to need is a nice deep mold and some toys to submerge. These are bath toys from the regular superstore, and the last thing you'll need is if you want some smells, anything like that. I wouldn't recommend coloring it because you want the toy to be visible so that it's a reward that you're working towards every time you wash your hands. So this is what's left of a very large chip off the block, and as you can see, it just cuts right through it like a cold ice cream cake or cold butter. And basically I'm just working it down into smaller chunks that will be easier to melt in the microwave. So once our soap is cut down into these blocks, we're going to put it into our bowl. And as a reminder, if you don't want to go to the store during this time to shop for the clear melt and pour soap, a lot of retailers do carry it online as well. So we're going to put this in the microwave for 30-second intervals. I like to lower the power a little bit because I have a pretty strong microwave. So you'll know that your liquid soap is fully melted and ready to go when it's completely clear, like an oil or a butter consistency. And when you give it a light stir, you don't see any chunks inside of it. A little foam on the top is okay, but basically you want to be completely smooth. I'm going to add in either a half teaspoon or a whole teaspoon or anywhere in between, whatever floats your boat. I like to do about a half because I don't want it to be too strong. And you can use any distilled oil or fragrance oil. We chose mango. So because we're going to be submerging toys in the mold, I'm going to pour a little bit of soap to line the bottom of each mold. Let it harden for just a minute, and then put the toys back in. If you need to give it another stir or reheat it at all, you're just going to pour the rest over to the top of the mold. As you can see, I popped them out of my silicone mold, and you just tell kids you can see the toy inside. When you use all of the soap by washing your hands the proper way, then you get to keep the toy inside.
So these are actually some that she did with me. I did some multiple color ones. As you can see, I've been using them, especially during the coronavirus. And I think it would be a really fun activity to do with kids, like kind of teenagers, where it's fun, they can personalize it themselves, but it's not overwhelming. So basically we had the same steps as we did before, right?
Right, so you're just going to break down your chunks into small meltable pieces. You microwave in 30-second bursts so that it's liquid again. So we're going to be adding green to our cucumber melon, and you want to use a very little bit. A little bit goes a long way, and you just stir it in. And remember, because we're using clear melt and pour, it's going to dry with like a jello kind of look. If we had white melt and pour, it would dry a solid opaque color. But basically melt and pour in a nutshell is melt, add the color, add the smell, and pour.
So we took it out of the mold, and this is what it looks like. So our last activity is a reverse swear jar. This is something for habits that I've seen all over the place, on the news, in the book Atomic Habits. I've read it in sales coaching manuals. So explain basically what it is.
Well, basically it's like a point system, and the only reason we're calling it a reverse swear jar is because we don't want it to feel like a punishment, but rather a point system to break the bad habits while building healthy habits. So we have a jar of marbles here. It's plastic, nice and safety. You could also use pasta noodles or anything that you have a lot of lying around. And we have our glass here. The reason that it needs to be glass is because all glass is dry erasable. And then we're just going to make some hash marks for our point system. And you could label them with different prizes. So it's more effective if you get the whole family in on this, that every time somebody comes home, hey, they wash their hands, drop a few in for each person. Or you could assign different point values to different habits, that washing your hands is worth more than, let's say, hand sanitizing when you come home from being outside or something like that.
So these are some quick activities you can do with your kids to help get through the stay-at-home quarantine, and also you can adapt them later on. You can use the soap that you learned how to do. You can have the kids make soap as inexpensive gifts at the holidays. You can customize this for anything, grades. I've seen adults do it for weight loss. Basically any good habits you want to try to teach them, you could use this reward system for. So these aren't just things for during the coronavirus. It is stuff to keep you busy, but it's stuff that you can do all year round.
And build some healthy habits.